Hey people, so quick review. We've been making collages in the style of Romare Bearden. We started these on a background layer and we're pretty much just using this lasso tool or the poly lasso tool to make selections of areas for a background and then filling them with the paint bucket tool. The other thing that you can do is paint within those selections. Just use a brush tool. And now I have kind of like a sharp edge to paint within, right? And then after we made like a background, we were adding images, importing images as layers, and then collaging. You can import images with the gallery. You can import images by downloading them from stock photo websites or from Google and then hitting open and place to place them as a layer, or also open from a URL and then paste them into a current project. So you can import images in a variety of different ways, and then what we're doing is selecting the subject with the different lasso tools. There's the regular lasso, the polygon lasso, and the magnetic lasso tool. That should all be old news, just selecting around a subject and then copying it to a new layer. But there's other ways to do this, and that's why I'm going to show you this magical tool, actually called the magic wand tool, and that allows you to select a range of colors pretty quickly and then like remove the backgrounds pretty quickly, kind of like what I did right here. Guy on a white background. I specifically searched for a person with a white background, use the magic wand tool, click the background, and then hit delete, and then you can pretty much put in any background you want, right? So let's apply this idea of using the magic wand tool to select and remove white backgrounds. First thing you got to do is find an image that you want in your collage and with the white background. So best place to do it, I guess, is just go over to Google and then search specifically like what you want on a white background. I'll just put man, here's a guy right here. I'm gonna like control click and copy image address, and then back in Photopea, open in place. Oh, not open in place. Open from URL. Paste in the URL into my current project. All right, and I'm gonna deselect, and here's my guy, right? Looks great. He's on a white background, and I don't need to sit here with the lasso tool and go around. That's painful, especially since he's on a white background. It's super easy to hit this magic wand tool and select the background. Now, if you look closely, you got like some of his teeth are getting selected because they're pretty white as well. A couple things that you should know is the tolerance slider right here. If you up the tolerance slider, more is going to get selected. So now it's up more, so it's selecting like part of his face. We don't want that, so let's deselect that and like move the tolerance slider down. If your subject's on a plain white background or a plain colored background, you really don't need the tolerance much above like 5 or 6. You can see like there are like a little bits around his head that aren't getting selected, so maybe we'll up this to like 10 or 12 and see what happens. Here's at 15. So that's like doing a pretty good job, but again, it's like selecting part of his teeth. And one way you can kind of consider not selecting the teeth is this button. If you click continuous, it'll only select parts that are adjacent. So like his arm right here, it's only selecting up until it's not selecting, the same color on the other arm or on his face. So let's try this again. With continuous checked, it should only go up until the edge of his body and not go and select within his teeth. So there you go. And then deselect. So once you have that selection, before you delete, if you even try to delete, it'll ask you to rasterize it. So that's easy. You just go layer, rasterize, we all know that, and then hit delete, and you have a pretty good cutout subject right here. We can try doing it like one more time. Let me get another guy. Oh look, it's Mark Wahlberg. Great, he's cool. Copy image address, and then file, open from URL, paste it in. All right, So here's Mr. Wahlberg, and this is excellent because I can show you how the continuous works. So on the magic wand tool, and so if continuous is checked, it can't, like the white doesn't continue to the other side. So it's only going to select this side of them. And then if I was to like delete, it would only delete one side, or even like this little bit of white between his arm and his body is not getting selected because continuous is checked. So if you want to get everything in like one fell swoop, you can uncheck continuous, or if you want to just add to the selection, you can hit unite and then click over here and then click in there. That's one way of doing it. But if you uncheck continuous, you can just click once, and then all the little pieces that are white are getting selected, even between his arm and his body, and on the other side of the image. And let's see, we got to rasterize the layer, rasterize, and then you should be able to hit delete, and it did a really excellent job of quickly removing the background, and you don't have to mess around with the lasso tools. So give that a try. I want to see that you can import images into your project that have a white background and use the magic wand tool to select and remove the background. Here, we can try it again here. Flower, white background, right? Here, this one's not perfectly white background, but it still should work okay, right? Let's see, we might just have to up the tolerance a little bit. But to get like all the spaces between the stems, I'm going to make sure that continuous is unchecked. And then, let's see, 15, it does like an okay job, but it's still like getting into here. Let's actually reduce the tolerance. Hit deselect. Okay, and then I'm just gonna keep adding to it by holding down shift, or it's on unite over here. And keep adding to the selection of the background. And then hit delete. Oh, layer, rasterize. And then hit delete. Did cut out like a little bit from the bottle, right? But if we position it the right way, that doesn't have to be noticeable. The other thing that you could do is go back in time to that selection, and then you can, right, it's still selected. I'm going to remove from the selection, but I can even switch over to like the lasso tool and kind of like Command Z. Here we go, right, Command Z. So I was trying to remove with the lasso tool, hit remove, right? Remove from selection, subtract from selection, this area. So you can kind of use the selection tools in combination with each other. Now I have all that back, not in my selection, and the only parts that are selected are my background. I hit backspace to delete, and now my flowers are perfectly cut out. So I want to see that you can use the magic wand tool, import images that have white backgrounds, and select that background, delete, and continue your collage. Place your cutouts in an interesting way according to all the instructions.